Oh, this show, AEW Dynamite, June 11th, 2025. Let's get into it. We have to talk about this. We actually opened this show very, very hot, and this is something in which I have to address. I've seen this ridiculous criticism online, and I cannot stand it. So we had Hangman Page, we have Swerve Strickland, two of the best guys in the business, two of AEW's top stars. They go 30 minutes on free television. They go to a time limit draw. Going into this match, did you think you were going to get a clean finish? Did you actually think that you were going to get a pinfall or a submission? There are people complaining on social media because how could you have these guys go to such a finish? How could you have these two guys go through a grueling 30-minute contest, go to a time limit draw, and that's it? That's all that you had to show for? On what planet did you think there was going to be anything different? So, what did they do instead? Well, I can tell you. So, what happened was they did the near falls towards the end. They went to a time limit draw. After the match, the Death Riders come out. They surround the ring. This allowed the Young Bucks to run down and lay these two guys out. They hit Swerve with 5 super kicks. In the end, they handcuffed Swerve Strickland and they laid out Will Ospreay while he watched. What does that tell me? That tells me we are getting a match between these two sides, two tag teams, if you will. All in, maybe. It would suck to have Swerve not in a singles match. It would suck to have Will Ospreay not in a singles match. But on paper, if you just want a banger of a match, you just want an all-out, just amaze fest, Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland up against the Young Bucks. That's not a bad way to go either. I wouldn't complain. One of the key segments of this show was Jon Moxley, our AEW World Heavyweight Champion, confronting Hangman Page. So Jon Moxley and the rest of the Death Riders dragged Hangman Page out to the ring, okay? Hangman is duct taped. They're about to lay him out. Jon Moxley is blaming Hangman for the actions in which he is about to do. You know, typical heel stuff. Before the ops came out, that Samoa Joe and his crew to run them off. And Hangman, a fired up Hangman, who the fans are really, really into these days, really invested into, he made it very clear he was going to do everything in his power to go after Jon Moxley on this show. Keep in mind that this is a 4-hour block. Why did they do this segment? Well, they did this segment for 2 reasons. Number one, to further the upcoming All In World Heavyweight Championship match. But they also did because AEW is running a 4-hour block in which the first 2 hours is Dynamite and the second half, the remainder of those 2 hours, well, that is Collision. I really, really am holding out hope, okay? I am hoping that we get a title change at All In. I'm hoping that Hangman Page is the man to dethrone Jon Moxley. But I'm starting to worry. I'm starting to worry because they're starting to give Hangman a lot of comeuppance. He's starting to get at least the final say or the final act in whatever segment that he does with Jon Moxley. Usually when that happens, the other person goes over, especially a babyface. If a babyface is getting up all of the momentum, it doesn't spell well for them come that blow-off match, come that title match. We're going to see how it all plays out, but I'm a little worried. MJF time. So he got some airtime. He did a segment with Mistico. So Mistico worked a match with Blake Christian, and it led to a very interesting situation. So after the match, there was a MJF and Mistico showdown as MJF, he walked out to the ring, okay? Mistico wanted to handshake Christian, who flipped him off as a result. That was nice. So what happened after the match? Hurt Syndicate comes out as MVP said that he wouldn't be the one addressing Mistico, MJF would. MJF cut a promo talking about how impressive it was by Mistico to come out there and show off what he could do. He's willing to give Mistico a match at Grand Slam. Looking forward to ripping off the dime store mask right off of his stupid face. Okay, he called him a great patriot in Mexico, but he's dusting off the red, the white, the blue. God bless America, and God bless your American hero, he said. A U.S. flag was lowered. A massive amount of streamers showered as the patriotic music played. MJF got into the ring with a mic, but Mistico cut him off laughing at him, saying that he'll see him next week in his home of Arena Mexico. MJF said that he's not Mistico to him. He's a sloppy Sin Cara, and he's about to get dropped. MJF then went to go punch him, but Mistico blocked it and dropped MJF with a right hand. Once Lashley and Benjamin were about to pounce, MJF demanded the mask. Okay? So he beat down Mistico. And then it was Mike Bailey and Masca Dorada making the save. I like it. It's someone for MJF to beat. I don't know how far it will go, but I'm very, very curious to see when we get the eventual breakup of MJF and the Hurt Syndicate, because you know it's coming. So the main event segment of Dynamite was Kenny Omega and Okada doing their contract signing. It's the international title and the Continental Championship forming into a unification title. It's beautiful. You've seen it. Here's where things got interesting. So Kenny Omega, he does his promo about he doesn't recognize himself in the video package in which just aired to recap the history between Kenny Omega and Okada. And at the end of the day, come All In, come July 12th, he will give Okada the absolute best. He will give Okada the best, toughest fight that he can. They shook hands. It felt a little trash. And then Don Callis came out. And this is where things got interesting. Don is cutting a promo, and Omega cuts him off, and he says, I understand why you're out here. You want to get Takeshita, who is Don Callis' client, into this match. And Omega said there was not one single trick that Don Callis could pull to make that happen. And then the camera moved, and it focused in on Kenny Omega, and you knew something was up. You knew there was something about to go down. Then that's exactly what happened. We see Okada attack Omega from behind. He lays him out. They do a stretcher job to close the Dynamite portion of the broadcast. Omega is put on a stretcher. He's carried to the back. Now, when you do a stretcher angle, that typically means that the talent is going to be off of television for the next several weeks. We don't know how long Omega will be off TV. Obviously, he's going to need to be back within a month. If I had to guess, he'll probably be out 2 weeks or so. But it does add a wrinkle. Okada desperately needs a manager, okay, just to do promos. I like Don Callis in that role. And Okada's already a heel, so why not?